Hello and welcome to the iRacing UK Community's MX-5 League Round 1. My name's Sean Cranley-Swash and I'm here with Carl Cranswick, and we're going to run you through the commentary here on our very first round of the MX-5 League at Tsukuba Circuit. We're running the 2000 full track today, and we've got 34 cars ready for this race, so it's going to be quite a hectic race, I think.
Yeah, really excited for this one, Sean. One, MX-5 is the car that everyone starts off in Rookie Series, but not everyone leaves. You look at any time, there's always multiple splits with some very, very quick drivers in here. And as soon as this league was set up, it filled up very quickly.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. As you say, everyone's driven this car, and it's a love and hate thing. The guys that we've got here, most of them have been driving it ever since they started, so hopefully we'll have some good action here. On track at the moment, we've actually got something a bit different to what we normally have in our sessions, which is open qualifying. So we've got every single person eligible to go on the track at the same time, trying to put a time in while dodging around everyone else. At the moment, we've got John Edwards with a 103.4 leading the way.
And Sean, around this track, short track, it's only 2 kilometers long, 1.3 miles, very quick, 9 corners, and with 34 cars on there, it's going to be very busy to get a tidy qualifying lap in within those 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to have quite a range of times here. If one or two people get a quick lap, we could see them well ahead of the rest of the field, I think.
And they're not too far off from what I've seen in practice. So the quickest time in practice was a 103.3 set by Hornby, with Dell only 100th of a second behind. We can see Hornby hasn't set a time yet, I don't believe. Dell's already way up there, and Edwards leading the pack at the moment. So it should be a close one.
Yeah, it should be. Let's just have a look where Hornby is. So Hornby is actually on track at the moment. Here he is, and it looks like he's about halfway around the circuit on his first lap. So let's follow him through and see where it takes us in his South Park livery.
Okay, I'm just trying to pick up which corner
I think
he's on there.
He's heading towards the final corner now, corner 9.
Okay, so he's on the start-finish straight. So he's coming up to turn 1 now, which is a tight hairpin. Quite difficult actually, because it really comes back in on itself. As you've got the fast section through turns 2 and 3, which is the... Oh no, that's the main straight. Sorry, let's start again. Okay, so now he's coming up to turn 1. Tight hairpin, tricky corner, comes in on itself, as I said. You've got corners 2 and 3, so it's a quick S around here. And he'll come up to turn 4, which is a very tight hairpin. Try and keep an inside line here, which he's done really tidily, and then push straight over to the left-hand side for turn 5, which is a fairly quick corner, quicker than you think. Run off to the left-hand side there and bring it straight back around. Now he's going around turn 7. Turn 8 is another tight hairpin.
And you can see the traffic really causing problems here for him already.
It really is. And this next corner, corner 9, that's the one I find hardest. It's straight away traffic there, so he's off the optimal line. Turn 9's a hard one to get right. In fact, it's one that I see a lot of people having issues with, but that slowed him right down. He won't be happy with that.
No, he's already 1.6 seconds off the top time from John, so let's see where that put him in. It's actually put him in only just over 6/10 behind him, so he might not be happy, but it's definite improvement starting 5th and over 15th.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's see who else is on track at the moment. I mean, this is such a short lap, it's quite hard to catch anyone's full lap, but we'll move over to Ben Brody here, and we'll see how he gets on. He's currently 9th.
Okay. And Ben runs in a few of the other leagues. He definitely runs in the Radical League, and normally does okay in that one there. So I expect him to do fairly well in the MX-5 League here. Again, traffic, although he seems to be slowing down. Odd braking in the middle there. Just seeing where he's coming round. Okay, so that's that tricky corner 9. Although everyone's taking it fairly tidily, that's as much as you want to take on the outside there. You really want to maximise the space. Good wide entry into turn one. Could be a bit closer to the apex there, but tidy
I
through the
know,
quick section.
I know from my point of view, particularly with turn 9, I, I think I attack it differently every single time. So
It's well, it's one of those. It's got a very blind entry, so it's difficult to know exactly where your turn in is, and it's if you mess up and you go on and off the throttle, it's very easy to push wide, and as soon as you've gone too wide, you're gonna spin it. Now, I've raced this track a few times. I've raced it in Ferrari fixed, which was challenging to say the least. MX-5 and also in Skippies, and it's a a pleasure of mine. I really do like this circuit.
yeah, I don't think I've raced this for. It must be coming up to a year now. I think possibly 6 months. And the last race I did was half an hour, 25 minutes of MX-5s around here, and the race is this one's an hour. It could potentially be up to an hour, and 25 minutes was really hectic because there is no let off at all. No matter where
No,
you are,
not
there's
at
always
all.
someone on the track near you.
And here we're going to have 34 relatively low-powered cars. It's going to be a bunch up grid for most of the 40 laps. There's not going to be any quiet periods in this at all. It's going to be 40 laps of full-on action. And speaking of which, we've only got about 2 minutes left of quali. Edwards, he's greyed out, so he must be out in the menu. Dell's in the pit, but we've still got laps being run by Sharp, Stewart, Jones, and Hornby, who are in the top 6 there, with Anthony, Luca, Wilson, and Skirson making up the top 10. So let's see how those positions change over the next 2 minutes.
I've just gone on to Stephen Lowbridge because he hasn't actually set a time yet. He's the only guy on track who's yet to set a time, and he's only on his 3rd lap as well. So we'll see how that goes. Being overtaken by someone on the outside there as he comes through, and it's a 103.007, and that sticks him in P30.
106.317, yeah. Okay, so he's a few seconds off the pace there.
He did have to negotiate a car there in the last section as well, which never helps.
He did, and on this track, how many cars and how short it is, you'll soon see lap times come tumbling down once they're in the race. The amount of rubber that's going to be laid from these cars. Speaking of which, predominantly right turns on this circuit. Couple of particularly low or high load corners. Turn 9, as I said, just before you get to the start finish line. So the left-hand tyres are really going to take punishment in this race. Obviously, with the Mazda being front-wheel drive, I expect that front left to really take the majority of it. It'll be interesting to see the pit stop strategies that people utilise throughout the race here.
Have you got any thoughts on how long this tyre could last? I mean, the guys have only 25 litres of fuel they can run potentially, and that could take them quite a way round. Are the tyres going to last that distance though if they take a late stop?
I mean, I've heard not, and then it's recommended that people do change the tyres around here. 40 laps is longer than you would normally run in the MX-5 Cup races, so there's that element of it too. Ultimately, I think it's going to come down to how hard they take turn 9. And most people, they're going to be racing, they're going to be taking it hard. Someone more savvy might just ease up a little bit and save them that extra time in the pit stop. But I think they'll lose all that time in the speed as you want to get maximum pace for that start-finish straight. So I think the smart move will be to change that tyre.
Yeah, it could come down to where you are in the traffic as well for your stop, because you could end up. It's very easy to end up behind a car that's as quick as you, but a long way down the track because they've caught someone else going round. As we're just watching now the last few qualifiers come in. You can see them all going around the track there. We're a minute gone on qualifying, so we're expecting this session to end any moment now, and when it does, we'll throw up the classified results before we head into the race. As you can see from the bottom there, we've got at least 4 cars on the track. If they manage to get across the line before the end of 10 minutes, then they would be able to complete a time, but I don't think many of them are going to be able to now.
And do we have anyone else that's yet to complete a time, or has everyone managed to put one on the board now?
No, I think we've got everyone on the board now. So let's just take a look at the timings here as we confirm the qualifiers. So let's start not with P11, but we'll start with P1.
Okay, so P1 is Edwards, followed by Tom Dell in P2 and Keith Sharp in P3. We've got Stewart in P4, Jones P5, and Hornby in P6, followed by Anthony, Luca, Wilson, and Skirton take us up to our top 10. We have Lewis, Nurse, Choney, Brody, Granberg, Leather, Farrell, and Burling making up the top 18 there.
Yeah, so let's just take a look at the last few. They're going to be on a very, very quick lap through. So instead of looking at the rest of the qualifiers, we're going to go to the track side now.
And incidentally, that 103 dead, that's the quickest time we've seen all week, including the open practice session. So that's a really good job done by Edwards there.
Yeah, I don't know if the 22 degrees Celsius temperature, 49 degree track's got anything to do with that.
And this is a full rolling start, so a full parade lap. Obviously a very short circuit, so sometimes you just get the last few corners, but here we'll get the full lap. We'll see them go round. Hopefully we'll get no incidents. We haven't in a GT3 league, really, but fairly often you might get the odd bump where someone gets carried away, either braking hard in front to warm up his brakes, or by shooting up the back of someone by trying to put on a burst of speed. So we'll see what happens here.
So here we go, they're off. It's only the last corner by the looks of it for this parade lap, so they have cut in early, and you can see the pace cars going off already. He's done about 10 yards.
Okay, so Smarty's leading the race. Here we go. Wait for the lights to turn green and for Edwards to give everyone the get-go.
And off they go.
Okay, and they're off. Great start by Edwards. Everyone's staying fairly close. I can't see any drama from behind at the moment. We have Dell in second place. He's held on to that well. Very tight, 2, 3, 4 wide into turn 1. Everyone's going through the S. There's still no incidents I see at the moment. It's a really clean start. And Edwards is already putting a gap, nearly, coming up to a second now. Fantastic start from him.
It does look like there's been a couple of incidents at the beginning of the race there, so let's just take a look at those and see what we had. While we watch the leader go through, I'll just try and find out what happened. So, from the beginning, we did have Kelly go off the track very, very early on, taking a very strange line. Looks like he's just parked it for whatever reason. So I'm not sure.
Looks like a hardware issue there.
Very possible. And then we had Tom Farrell, who's actually had a bit of an accident. So we're going to have a look at that now. Yeah, it looks like there's just been
gone into the back of someone there. And there's car 24 is spun there.
A bit of chaos, and Tom's just had another accident as well. So it's not going well for him. Here he's in the black car. Sorry, the yellow car. There we go, turn 9, as you were saying.
Especially in these opening laps, if you want to attack it, which you really do for the speed, but it's such a difficult corner. I think the most difficult on this circuit. That and turn 5 for me.
Yeah, so we're on with Keith Sharp now, who has got Michael Hornby right behind him. And just a second behind them, there's a massive train of about 9 or 10 cars, which is to be expected.
And I suspect it'll be that way all the way through. And we know Hornby's quick. He races in the. I'm assuming it's the same Hornby. He races in the Radicals, and he's won 2 of 2 that he's taken part in. So I expect him to take that position. He was way up in time during practice as well. So I'm sure once he gets his rhythm, gets past a couple of drivers, he'll be right at the sharp end of the front there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's been a lot of action already. It's quite hard to find out where to go. But I'm just going to head over now to Mark Nurse, who is just behind another train.
So he's running P13 at the moment, and he's got Chorney and Cox behind him. But he's come up pretty quick on Luca and Leather there, who are side by side, I've seen, for the last few corners. Lovely Danger Mouse livery, by the way. That takes me back to my youth.
Definitely there as we watch Leather go around the top corner there.
Yeah, and I think Nurse went a little bit deep there, so he lost some of the momentum. But he seems to be catching it back up here.
Okay, I'm going to head over to the leaders because Tom Dell has actually taken the lead. That's not the leaders.
No, that is the leaders.
The leaders.
So Edwards has that Smarties livery, and he is all over the back of Dell's Mazda there.
Let's actually see what happened there because we can see the overtake. So there's Tom. He's round the outside.
And that looks to be on turn 1.
No, I think that's turn 4. No, it's the hairpin, I believe. Yeah, it's the hairpin at the top. I'm turn 8.
Okay. Turn 8. All the hairpins look the same from that angle.
They do. It's not the easiest camera angle to work from. They do look a bit slow with the guys behind them picking them up there.
They really are. So that's 4 laps completed now. And the top 5 are split. No, are covered by 5 seconds, but it's really the top 4 are all pretty much within that second of each other. Hornby's just outside of that second, so really racing close, racing clean.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just follow these guys through because, as you said, they are the leading pack. They're moving now away from P5. They're about 4 seconds ahead of David Stewart.
Yeah, who's got a big, probably the most condensed train behind, actually. P5 down to, I don't know, P11, so 6 cars, all separated only by a couple of seconds. Look at it there.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he's holding the guys up behind now with Sai all over his bumper as he's trying to
and here we go, making a move, and
a bit
on
the
inside, bit of contact. Lucky to hold it there, Stewart. Nearly spun. Did a great job to hold that.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest that one might be a 4X as they're parking up behind him, 3 across the track.
And he's getting chased down by that Welsh Dragon on that livery.
But there could be contact again as they go around the last corner, up the curb.
Yeah, and someone else is going for the inside there, and I think they've got it. So
yeah, I think Sai's suffered from that incident, and he's lost all momentum coming down that last straight.
Just holding on, but now he's on the outside of turn 1 now,
and just been nudged a little bit wide as well.
And he's lost the position. But he's right on that bumper. Let's see what happens here. Can't quite make it, but still very tidy and very tight in that group there.
Yeah, they're clearly working very hard, and while we're watching this, the top 4 are now 6.5 seconds ahead of this pack, and they really are running away with it. The thing is, though, with all this racing, they're not going to do any of their tyres too good because they're weaving for position all over the place.
So I've had a notification, P27. So Burling looks like he had a crash a bit early on, and we've also had a couple of off tracks from Nurse as well. People racing hard, really trying to maximise what they can here.
Yeah, so Berlin's gone off. Let's just knock this back a bit and see exactly what happened. There he goes. He comes around the first corner. He's wide. He's hit the grass. Oh, I've done that a few times as well.
He's straight into the wall, and we'll see how he goes around. But he might have to utilise one of those fast repairs. So everyone here gets 1 fast repair. So if they're in the shunt, car gets damaged, slows down because of it, they can go into the pits and take that. The strategy, if the damage isn't too bad, is to keep it going for as long as you can until your fueling window, um, which I think is probably too early. I've also seen that Shawnee has crashed as well. It looks like it's had 2 incidents there. If we
Yes.
can go back and have a look at that.
Yeah, so here he is now. He did have a crash. He's in this blue and white car. Sorry, the black car behind. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Oh,
and he's collected.
he.
I think that was Cox there.
That looks like it was.
Lost his bumper.
He's definitely going to need that fast repair there, but he could have gone off again as well because there was a second incident for him. But I think the first one
There
might have
is.
been the spin. We'll just watch this replay round.
Okay, around turn 8.
No, I think that's it. I think
Seems okay.
I think both those incidents were within a second of each other, so it must have just been a double call on our event tool here. Right, so the top 4, they haven't moved. They've kept to their places as they're going through, but we can see that P5 David Stewart is pulling out a little gap now on the pack behind him as they're wrestling over each other.
So I think they're scrapping so hard behind him that they're letting Stewart run off a little bit here. Although he's got a lot of time to catch up if he wants to get involved with the top 4. And incidentally, with the top 4, I can see Edwards has opened up a 1.2 second gap between him and Dell. Dell and Sharp much closer, 0.6, half a second or so. And Hornby, I think he's just gone on a bit of a charge there. He's also now only half a second off Sharp.
I'm just going to pop up to Timothy Cox, who's lost a couple of positions after going off track, I think, in turn 8. Let's try and find him. There he is.
Oh, gosh.
There's nothing much left of his car after that incident he had early with Cherney.
No, Barbie's not happy, and I'm sure Ken won't be either. I think they need to go back to the dream house.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, that bumper's coming off anytime soon. Anytime now, rather. Okay, and that's going around that. Turn 9 didn't go into the pits though. That's what I would have expected, but maybe the damage isn't too bad.
As we head back over to David, and he's got the
Stewart
cars
and
all on
Wilson
him.
fighting really hard. So I assume Stewart's made a bit of a mistake there, as he had a bit of clean air behind him.
Yeah, and he's lost that position to Josh Wilson, who actually gained 3 places, I think. Oh, there's a big.
Oh, and there's a crash behind them. Who's that? That's Brody in leather.
Yeah, so let's just have a quick look and see what happened there. So they're going round turn 1. They had a little touch.
Yeah,
Brody's gone wide.
Nothing too serious.
He's hit the grass.
He's spun into him.
Do you know what? Leather's not going to be happy. He's going to think that was intent with the way that happened.
Yeah.
But Ben has just jumped to the pits as well, so his race is pretty much over.
You'd hope you'd hope the tow round here wouldn't be too bad, being such a short circuit. But even then, you're still losing a lap.
Yeah. It's only a minute track, and you've probably got about the same for your tow, no matter where you are. It's not going to be kind to you, I tell you that.
No.
Oh, that's
and
really wide by Cy there.
And Stewart's all over Wilson's bumper here. He all over his gearbox. He wants that position back. Really tidy around turn 1. You can't take the place through this section, but you can sometimes outbrake coming up to turn 4. In fact, he's got the inside line there.
I was going to say, there's always a chance inside if they do go wide around that corner, but it's tough.
Yeah, and he took that inside line into turn 5, which closed the door there. So around turn 6 and 7, and then we've got another opportunity around turn 8. But Wilson, really good defensive move there.
Oh, he's just been nudged.
He has been nudged. Is that Anthony?
That's Cy, who's squeezing cars left, right, and centre now, and they're going to have a big incident here if they're not careful. Right
in the middle, a bit of elbows out there, I think. But he's got the place. Stewart won't be happy. He's dropped down and he's battling Skirton, who actually I think has just taken the position now.
He has. Yeah. So that's unfortunately for David Stewart. He's lost those 3 positions in 4 laps. Sure, he's not going to be
And it
happy with
didn't
that.
look like he made much of an error there either. I think he had a couple of love taps, and obviously he must have made a mistake early on to allow that gap to be closed back up. But I think he was a bit unlucky there.
I think what we're going to see now is we're going to see these guys, they're 12 seconds behind Michael Hornby in 4th place. We might see that gap start to slowly close as the top 5 really are stretched out now with a 2-second lead that John Edwards has got over Tom Dell, who does have Keith Sharp within 3/10 right behind him.
Can we take a look at the Dell Sharp battle there? See how that's progressing.
Yep, we're there now. We're on Keith Sharp.
Okay, here so they're coming up to back markers. Makes our job a bit more difficult. Who's who?
Right, if you look in the battle box at the bottom there,
Okay, and
car number
he is being
27.
swamped by back markers there.
So car number
And
27 is a back marker who he's just gone past.
Yeah, so now he's cleared. There's Dell in the front there. So I'm assuming that's where the times come from. Dell's come up behind the back markers, and Sharp's been able to catch right back up. But as soon Dell was behind, Sharp got stuck behind, and now he's got to make that time back up again. And those back markers, they're racing him hard. But I'm sure he'll build a gap pretty soon.
Yeah, you're very right. But that last couple of laps, just getting past the one car, the number 36 of Zach Evans, has really stretched out the top 4 now, and there is a massive gap of probably about 5-6 seconds between them, whereas 3 laps ago they were all within a second and a half.
And now we're at lap 14 now. So by my calculations, the pit window will be opening pretty soon. In fact, I can see a couple of people are already in there. I don't know if that's for damage, but we've got Granberg and Griggs are in. Griggs is just exiting now. I had it around lap 16 that people might start going in. You might be able to push it to mid-20s, but you're going to be heavily fueled to do that stints, and will that slow you down? And also that tyre wear that we talked about earlier, that could start coming into play.
Oh, definitely. As we've moved up to Stephen Lloyd, who's got Paul Simmons right behind him, coming into the inside hairpin there, turn 4.
Fancy livery, making me thirsty.
I'm going to have to apologise to the people watching. I've just had to clear out all of my paints, so where Carl's saying Fanta livery, you'll be seeing a nice black and orange livery. We're having issues here with trading paints at the moment.
Well, I won't bring it up anymore. All the smarties there. I'll just enjoy them myself. But just know that I've got my snacks on hand.
Yeah, you're making me hungry talking about all these Fanta and Smarties.
Okay, so that's going around turn 9. Now turn 1.
Should we go back to Stephen Cox, who's in a bit of a battle at the moment here with Paul Lostro, who's right on him, and he looks like he's trying to get round him on the outside of out turn 1.
So Lusso had a much better turn 1 there, much better exit, and he's got a much better corner there. I'm wondering if Cox has a bit of damage. He seemed really slow through that corner. I mean, he may have just gone a bit too deep, as I can't see anything obvious.
He's definitely not keeping up with him anyway. But it looks like David Stewart's just lost another place as well. Oh, he's going into the pits, so this must be for his fuel stop.
Okay, and let's take a look at this. What sort of pit times are we looking at? So I think Leather went in. He was about 31 seconds in the pits. We'll see how Stewart comes out with that.
Yeah, Mike Griggs was about the same time as well, so we'd expect about 30 seconds.
But lap 16, which is when we expected the first pit stops to be made.
And there we go. So what's he done there? He's done a very quick stop there for David.
Yeah, really quick. And now I'm wondering, we've seen a lot of fueling issues in the pits during our leagues. James Armstrong, I'm not mentioning any names, and I'm wondering, has he underfueled there?
Do you know, you're not the only one. I was in an IMSA race last night, and one of the guys mentioned the same thing, that his tools aren't giving him the fuel he expects them to be giving him for the time they're on the track. So there might be something wrong that's affecting a lot of drivers here.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at my timing screen. I can see Anthony is very close to Wilson, isn't he? He's all over that gearbox there. Really wants to make a move, pushing hard. Also got Skirton behind him, a little bit further, but wanting to capitalise on any mistake. And that was very nearly a shunt there.
Oh, yeah,
Anthony's so much quicker through that corner.
as they almost get
Back marker.
taken out by Leather there. Was that Leather? No, that was Evans, who almost took them out.
And Evans has crashed. So Lloyd, Evans, and Skirton have crashed. I'm wondering if that's picked up everyone in that one incident.
Let's just take a look. So here's Lloyd, who had a crash. This can't be right. Oh, he's just disappeared off the track.
No, there we go. So, okay, with that.
Let's head over to Zach and see what happened there. So he's all over the place coming through the inside hairpin there.
Yeah, and I saw him spear across.
Oh, there's nowhere to go. And again.
You see, and that right there is a classic lesson on why you should hold your brakes. He's tried to straighten up the line, and then he's gone and covered across and taken someone out there. Yeah, so obviously not intentional, but it makes it very difficult to avoid an incident if it's a moving incident, which is why we always try and lock brakes.
Yeah, that's really important. Then he's taken out a couple of the guys that were running high in the top 10 as well. So as we're on lap 18 of 40, we're almost halfway through. We've seen one or two guys pit, but the majority of them haven't yet got round and done their stop. I can see that John Edwards is now back in the lead, and he is 5 seconds ahead of Tom Dell.
He's having a stellar lap. In fact, I'm wondering if it's worth just following his car for a lap just to see what sort of lines he's taking and provide a bit of commentary on the laps that he's managed to get through.
Yeah, let's go on board with him and see what's going on.
Okay. So it looks like he's coming up to the hairpin, turn 8 here. Got some back markers come round, nice tight line. Hopefully these guys in front give a bit of space. Or not. Okay, so sticking right to the left-hand side to really open up turn 9, open up that corner, that difficult turn-in spot, pretty close to the apex. Yeah, great corner. It's a late apex there. That's what makes it so difficult. Opening it up really wide on the exit, and he can run all the way there. It's not going to give you an off-track. Nice and tight on turn 1, and so that's one back marker cleared, which he'll be relieved about. And now he's going through the sections, turns 2 and 3, before the tight hairpin in turn 4, which you want to brake for about here. You can go on the green just a little bit. It can swing you round, but if you're not careful, it will spin you round and not just tighten the corner. So lots of apex on turn 5, and keeping it tight, leading up back to the hairpin in turn 8. Which will take him down to that fast right-hander. Now, he's going to want to get ahead of these guys if he can to get the left-hand side, because he is offline. He doesn't want to be on this side. He wants to be on the other side of the track, as I said, so he can open up that corner. So that's compromising a little bit. But the gap he's got behind him, he doesn't care about that. So, yeah, really tidy lap by Edwards.
And there we go.
Going back to the pit strategies, I'm wondering if people are adopting the usual GT3 strategy here of taking on max fuel and having the shortest refuel window at the end, just as an easy strategy, because we're really not seeing many people going in at the moment, and I'm a bit surprised. I'd expect to start seeing people come in at the halfway point if they were going to take a tyre change to maximise the use of the new tyre.
Oh yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, because there's two ways to think about it really. You kind of predict how long your tyre's going to run and measure your stop against that, or you just run it all the way to to the end of your fuel tank and then do a quick splash at the end. Some of these guys might even want to avoid taking tyres altogether, which might have been what we saw from David Stewart earlier.
So I've seen Lewis. He was in the top 10. He's pitted now.
And he's
Cox,
definitely taking tyres if we look at him there.
yeah. Either that or he's a dog having a wee. But
as we're on Josh Wilson now.
okay, so and Anthony behind him. Anthony's had he's had a lot of action this race. He's raced hard, but pretty fair for the most part. He's been doing a great job, really putting drivers under the pressure, and he's working his way up the rankings there.
Yeah, he's doing really well. Where is he now? He's 6th. They've kind of been around that position all the time. They can't get anywhere near the top 4 though, who are 18, 25 to 25 seconds ahead now of these two here. So I think we know what the podium's going to be. It's going to be one of those top 4 unless something bad happens to them.
Yeah, these guys are really racing for 5th position here. I think the top 4, unless there's contact, crash, spins, I think the top 4 are locked in. The winner, Edwards, is looking likely, but I don't want to give commentators curse here, which I just have done. Sorry, Edwards. I won't do it again. But if we look at Edwards' last lap, he's still running in the 103, so it's a 103.9, which is way quicker than everyone else. If we look at P5, for example, so if I'm on board with Wilson, he's doing a 104.6, so he's a good 7/10 off each lap, which also links in with their best laps as well. There's about 7/10 between them. So Edwards is having a great race.
Yeah, I mean 7/10 on a long track is quite a big gap, but on a short track like this, which is only just over a minute long, it's massive. It really is.
And just looking, because we're on board turn 5, I love turn 5. I also love the Mazda. Confession time, Sean. I used to have a Mazda MX-5 in real life, and it wasn't one of these. I had one of those old Mark 1 with the pop-up headlights. I love that thing.
Well, that's probably why you wanted to come and do this racing in the first place. There's only 1 or 2 reasons to have a Mazda in one of those, is to enjoy it and to probably get on track as well.
And I like the way the wind blew my hair around as well, Sean.
Yep, have the
I have
roof
it a bit
off,
shorter nowadays, but but I once did a drive up to Wales, and I don't live anywhere near Wales. It was 200 miles in March with the roof down the whole way. We called it the Open Top Driver Discovery, and it was a great weekend.
Sounds fascinating.
I'll tell you about it another day. Right, enough of my personal life. So turn 5, and those two are still racing really closely together. Now, who are we on? Burling.
So we're on
really tight group of 4, and we've got Edwards right behind them.
And Burling's just gone round the corner there, but someone just shot off track in front of him. I didn't see who that was. I think it might have been Lowbridge or Lloyd that flew off the track at the last corner there, as we see Edwards go underneath Burling.
Oh. Really slow back marker there. Who was that?
That was
Horsley,
I think.
So I don't know what's happened to Horsley. I can't see anything. I can't see that any incidents have happened. I'm wondering if he's run out of fuel, Sean.
Very possibly. Let's just take a look and see what happens. So he's going really slow round that corner, and he's parking up. So it's either a technical issue or he's running out of fuel.
Although he seems to be picking up again. I'd bet money on it. Although he's speeding up again. I don't know. I'm putting my money on fuel on that one.
Yeah, I think you might be right. As we're back with Thomas Burling again, who really is on his own in terms of cars in front. We've got David Stewart, who's dropped down to 12th, but he has pitted in front of him 7 seconds, and you've got several guys behind him as well that we can go and have a look at. So here we go, Stephen Lloyd, who we saw go off the track a bit earlier in the background.
Yeah. Bit nice and tidy.
Yeah, I think the track's really starting to affect people now. It's the gaps are getting bigger. There's a couple of seconds between most people now. The closest action we've got is this Paul Simmons David Stewart fight here for P11.
So only 0.4 of a second, and it's shrinking. It's going down. They've got a back marker in front of them. That's Granberg. And he's gone in the pits.
We really are
He's going in the pits.
Scrabbling around for a bit of action here. Let's go over to Josh Wilson, who's got Cy Anthony just half a second behind him there.
I mean, we haven't seen much pit action at the moment. I'm looking at my board here. Most of them have a 0 against how many times they've been in that pit. We're at lap 27 now, so I'm expecting a flurry of activity to get into those pits. I'm expecting incidents getting into those pits. I'm expecting incidents trying to get back out of those pits. It's going to get really congested there.
I think it will do. If they're all going to wait to the last moment, we're assuming here in the commentary box that they did have similar fuel starting. So if they all try and get out of that really tight exit into turn 1 all at the same time, it's going to be crazy when it comes round.
So P4 Sharp, he's in the pits now.
Yep.
So that's the first of that group who's made the move. Well, he's too far away to make an undercut attempt on Edwards, but he might be able to make up a position on Hornby or Dell by going in just that bit earlier.
Yep. So we're on Hornby now. We're going to go round and see where he. Hopefully he'll come in around about the same time. We'll see what happens there. We're not too sure whether this track's going to be good for the undercut or not, but he does skip past the pit, so he's not.
But I'm looking at this. So if I was Hornby, all I see is blue around him. He is surrounded by back markers. He's got back markers behind him, back markers in front of him. If it was me, I would dive in and just try and find yourself in a bit of open air, because at the moment he's hemmed in and they don't have anywhere to go. So his lap times are really going to suffer.
Not only is he hemmed in, he's losing probably a couple of tenths a lap to Tom Dell as well by just being in this traffic.
Well, to put it into perspective, Hornby's best lap is a 103.1. And at the moment, his last lap was a 104.5. So he's nearly a second and a half off his best pace there.
Yeah, I think the only person that isn't being affected by traffic here is John Edwards, who's still flying. He's got a couple of cars in front of him coming into the last corner, but it just doesn't seem to affect him at all.
No, 8.5 second gap now. That's incredible.
Yeah, on that was close.
Such a short track on cars that aren't high on power. Really impressive.
Oh, definitely.
Really impressive drive.
That's so evenly matched as well. As he goes around the outside on turn 1 of both the back markers, that's brave. That is.
I don't think anything phases him, Sean.
I think you might be right here. I can't imagine that there's going to be any problems for him for the rest of the race. It's probably that Senna style helmet that he's wearing that's doing it for him.
Yeah, he's feeling his inner Senna. So Hornby P3, he's just going into the pit now as well. So that just leaves Edwards and Dell, the two front markers who haven't yet gone in.
So we were talking about Keith Sharp and his stop just before we went over to Michael Hornby the first time a couple of laps ago. Keith did a full stop of 42.17 seconds. That's how long he was in the pits for. Do you know what? Michael's done a 26.32 full stop, so he's clearly not taken tyres or only half tyres there, and he's given himself an extra 10 seconds.
Well, Sharp's pit stop is long. I never want to guess and I never want to assume, but I'm going to. And I think he's mistakenly changed all tyres on his car. That's the only way I can see that he's that much slower. Although there's someone else who's got a 47, but I think that's probably down to entry and exit speed and finding the pit box. In fact, he stopped.
Oh,
Hornby stopped.
Hornby stopped. That could be a disconnect. Doesn't look good.
He stopped right in the middle of the track.
Yeah, that has to be a disconnect. We've seen that a couple of times from the guys. So,
he will be disappointed. He was running so well.
As we're looking at Josh Wilson here and Cy Anthony, who are all over each other still, and with that car leaving the track, it means they're up to 3rd and 4th place now.
Yeah, so now they are fighting for a podium place. Sharp will come. So they still need to pit. So Wilson, Anthony, and Luca haven't pitted yet. So and Sharp has. He's behind them. so he may leapfrog. Although he did have that slow pit stop, so if they've got a quick stop, they might find that they overtake him. Although I suspect the gap may have been too big, and they'll come back in fourth.
That's what I'm thinking. Just looking at the intervals between the cars here, if they would have to do a whole pit time of 16 seconds to get out in front of him, and I don't think that's possible. As we do watch Wilson go into the pits now.
Yeah.
So let's stay with Wilson and see what he does. See how quick this stop is. As Luca's gone in as well.
And I've just seen that Barbie car come past, and I'm just realising my Barbie analogy. No one will know what I was talking about, will they, Sean? Because they couldn't see the paint.
They'll think you're completely crazy.
Crazy man who loves Barbie. Okay, so getting new tyres. Look to just be the one side.
Yeah, it looks like they're all just doing the one side, but we did see earlier another car. Oh no, that's the whole set.
Wilson's gone for the whole set.
And I think some of the guys earlier, when we were talking to them as Berlin goes through, were saying it's about 8 seconds for each side of the car that you get done. So it's not like the GT cars where they can get the whole lot done very, very quickly.
So that was Wilson, was it? He did the full set.
That was Luca that did the Luca that did the full set there, but he's out.
Okay, I'm just having a look. Wilson, he's having a very slow
Wilson's
pit time. I'm not sure what's happening there.
He's done
1 minute 15.
So he must have done repairs as well, or it's fast repairs. I've got no idea. He must have taken all 4 tyres and filled up to the top.
And because he's only done the 1 pit stop. So that's the slowest time by really quite some margin. So that's hurt his race.
Yeah, I think what's happened here, as John Edwards goes into the pits, so P1 here, he does have Tom Dell, who's yet to pit, 10 seconds behind him. So expect to see Tom Dell come. Oh no, Tom Dell is coming in as well.
But Sharp's only 48 seconds behind, and we've seen some slow pit stops here. So I think it's worth maybe following Sharp if we can, just to see where he comes up behind Dell and Edwards, as he might leapfrog a position here depending on what type of pit stop they take.
Well, Edwards is out now. He's just completed round through turn 1.
Okay, so really quick stop for him. He hasn't taken any tyres.
No.
Quick splash of fuel, and he's out 28 seconds.
And
Dell is also quick.
Tom Dell's also out. So there we go. That's that done. Keith's lost 10 seconds on that in total. Which is
okay, and we're following Dell now.
But they've really spread out at the front.
They have. I mean, I'm looking at the map here, and it looks like a bingo card. There's no order here. I can see a 5 and a 6 and a 7 close together, but I can see a 3, 17, 27, 2, 26. Everyone's mixed up here.
As Journey comes down past Stephen Cox there, as Cox heads towards the pits. And now Cox has not taken a stop yet, and I think he's the last one to go. So that's everyone. So we should be filtering through into their right positions up to the end of the race now with 6 to go.
Yeah, only 6 laps, and a number of people we haven't really focused on during this race, but that's purely, they obviously haven't been caught in any instance. Actually, aside from the ones that we've captured, but there's been remarkably few. I was expecting a bit more, argy-bargy elbows out demolition derby here, but it's been a really tidy race, which is testament to the leagues that we've been running at the iRacing UK and I Discord. That all the races have been, really tidy, really clean, and it keeps people coming back. And for my own shameless plug, there's going to be an F3 league running soon, and if that can run cleaner than the officials, then I think everyone will be happy.
Yeah, I can't imagine people wanting to stick too long in officials with clean league racing going on here.
And just speaking of shameless plugs, whilst everyone's spaced out a little bit, so this weekend it's the Daytona 24, where the iRacing UK and I Discord is raising money for Mind, a mental health charity. So we're big supporters of positive attitudes towards mental health, openness and discussion, and really the people that contribute on our Discord channel. To that is a testament to the community. So we're really proud to be raising money for Mind. You will see some details on that shortly, but tune in. I believe that stream will start at 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon.
Slightly later, we'll probably pick up about half an hour before the race, so about 2:30. The race runs from, depending on, actually it does depend on what iRacing do and the number of entrants they get. They have sometimes staggered the start times across splits between 2 and 3 to get more guys running. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, we'll try and start as early as we can to catch our first starters, and we'll be streaming it here on the UK iRacing Twitch. We'll also have pretty much all of our normal streamers streaming their own races as well, and you'll recognise those if you're ever in Twitch and you're looking around. They'll all have the iRacing UK logos on either their bios or on their videos as well, so they are going to be easy to spot come Saturday, I'm sure.
And what we're looking at now is the closest battle on track at the moment. So we've got Roland. He's chasing Nurse hard. So I've raced a few times against Roland, and in fact, I think in race 1 of the Radical lead, he posted the fastest lap out of nowhere. So we know he's got pace, and he races the F3, and he's frequently quick in that as well. So we'll see different line there, and we'll see if he can take this position, take P11. I think he'll be disappointed not to be in the top 10. But hey, it's first race of the league, and I know the MX-5 thing is a little slower than what he's used to racing. So finding his feet a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, if he's been racing Radicals and F3, there's the challenge of no downforce as well is really going to affect him at first. But it is quite easy to get used to these cars after a couple of practice sessions anyway. But to get the most out of it, like we've seen Edwards, Dell and Sharp do up the top, is it's completely different.
Yeah, and Leather's joining this battle now, so they're all separated only by about a second and a half here. So let's just keep on this action for a little bit longer. See what happens. As we know, Rowlands was taking slightly different lines to try and get a better exit to get some run-up speed onto Nurse to try and take that position down the main straight.
Yeah, this top hairpin here, there's so many different lines you can take through it depending on where you think the car in front's going to end up. And it looks like he's starting to close, but then again he's coming down to turn 9, he's run out of track, and there's nowhere really to pass unless you're right on the gearbox, even closer than he is now, coming into this start-finish straight. You're not going to get in under them.
And they've taken an identical line there. So I know Nurse Nurse was a bit tight there last time. And he's taken a slightly defensive line into turn 1. So there's only a couple of laps left. So I think you might hold Rowlands off here.
Okay, it looks like Wilson's just gone off the track. He was battling down in 12th or 13th, I think. So let's just take a look and see what happened there. Oh, there's a big incident.
Oh dear.
And it wasn't just Wilson. He's probably taken the brunt of it, but there's bodywork everywhere.
There is. It's not Demolition Derby we're playing, guys. No, that was a bit of pinball, wasn't it? They're too wide, but very close together on the main straight. As soon as someone loses a bit of traction, they're bouncing off each other. There's nowhere to go, and actually,
so let's just
it could have been worse.
Let's just take a look at this and see what happened coming around the last corner. If I can find it, of course. Here we go. So there's an accident to the right here, and Lastu's just got pushed onto the grass. I think he got off better than most. As you see, another car come out right in front of him, nowhere to go.
No, trying to take the tight line there. Yeah, but he was unlucky there. I couldn't quite see who or how he got hit into.
I think they were just too close for the tightness of the track there, especially coming out of that turn 9. As you know, you don't really have much traction till you straighten that car up as you get to the AstroTurf. So you really are just hoping that the car sticks to the ground before you really put the accelerator down.
Yeah.
As we've just seen a couple of other accidents as well, so I'm just going to run through those. I don't think there's much action on track otherwise.
No, I was just going to say he's had a really good race actually. He's up into P4 now, so
So this is a lap
P5
after that
rather.
incident. Robert Riley's had an accident, but I think that's because something happened in front of him and he's just given it up by the looks of it. So let's just see what happened there. And I've got to stop getting it into this mode. But as you can see, look, there's a couple of cars. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
So that's Cox. He's already lost his bumper. It went in way too hot in that corner, I think.
Yes, I'd say so. And I think one thing we should probably mention at this time, as we hit the white flag, is that there were incident points up to 20, but I don't think we've seen anyone do that's just a silly incident there. Let's go over to John
Do a
Edwards
drive-by.
and watch him come through, because he's on the last lap now, and he's
Yeah.
coming
Okay.
through the
So
last corner.
we'll just talk through it. So last corner, turn 9. He's 21 seconds ahead of everyone else. 22, and that's fantastic. So Edwards, he's won race 1, League 1 of the of iRacing UK and MX-5 Cup League. What a start, and what a dominating start for that as well. I mean, it wasn't nail biting to the end. He just ran his own race, and no one had a look in. Great
No,
race.
and I think, but just by looking at the leaderboard there, those cars in blue down the left-hand side, he's lapped all of them, and it was only as they crossed the line, Sharp, who he hadn't lapped, and he's 21 seconds behind him. So that's just immense.
Yeah, really, really great drive. So, well done, Edwards. Take that parade lap, milk it in, soak it in. Don't milk it, soak it.
Okay, we'll let those guys just finish off now. See who's crossing the line. Most of them are almost done, and we'll get over to the race results very shortly, as we just watch John take his time coming into the pits. As you say, savouring every moment. He's going to be very happy with that one.
I would be. It doesn't happen very often to me, and
Although
if I win, it's normally by a hairline on the start finish line. Never dominating quite like that.
you did have a very good race the other week in the Radical League, though.
2.5 seconds. I've remembered.
Let's take a look at the standings then.
Okay, so in P1 we've got Edwards, who won by a massive 22 seconds, followed by Keith Sharp in P2 and Tom Dell in P3. We've got Sciencey in P4, Murray Luca in P5, David Stewart in P6, Tyler Lewis in P7, Michael Hornby in P8, and Craig Chorney in P9. Simon Skirton rounds up the top 10. And then we've got Nurse, Rowlands, Leather, Lusto, Wilson, Farrell, Davies, and Lowbridge taking us down to P18.
And then the final few, we've got Wilson, who was all the way up in P3 at one point, had that ridiculously long minute and a half stop and ended up down in 15th, followed by Farrell, Davies, Lowbridge, Cox, Simmons, Jones, Griggs, and then the guys here that all finishing over 2 laps down. Burling, Lloyd, Keeley, Cox, Riley, and finally Horsley. So that's that really for the MX-5 League 1 Round 1 at Tsukuba. You can join us next. I think our next event is now the D24 on Saturday. So we're going to, as I said earlier, we're going to be streaming live on Saturday, and then on Sunday, 9 p.m. we've got our finals of the GT3s, which is at Spa. We've got a special hour-long race, which is going to be on 8 times speed multiplier. So they're going to be starting in the day, and they're going to run all the way through to midnight track time. So that'll be a good one to watch to see who finally wins our first GT3 league. I think there's 3 drivers in it, so it could go either way. I do know that that we're going to have a couple of drivers missing from that one because they were competing in the 24. So it'd be interesting to see who does turn out and who takes that championship. And then finally on the 26th of January, we've got round 4 of the Radicals League, which I know that you're going to be interested in, Carl, because you're quite near the top of that championship.
You say quite near the top, Sean. I am joint first at the moment. I'm riding that wave. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to do the last 2 races, but I will represent in Charlotte and see if I can actually. I've been joint for the last 2 weeks. See if I can either break away or hang up my crown and fall down the standings. The last thing I was going to say is you can join us for the next MX-5 race. Round 2 will be at Oran Park Raceway on the 16th of February.
Yep. So that's obviously a little time off. We'll have a couple of events in between. But if you are interested in the Discord, you can drop a message on our chat. We'll pick that up and we'll get in contact with you. On screen now, you can see our Facebook site. If you go there, drop us a message. We'll get in contact with you and we'll send you an invite to the Discord that way. And finally, if you do use the iRacing forums, if you head over to the UK&I general chat, we've got a post in there as well where I think we've got a couple of invites currently active that you can pick up and come through that way. So plenty of ways to find us, and we'll be streaming again next Saturday for the Daytona 24. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.